Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our journaling program. My name is Karen Fatika Geiger, and I will be your instructor. So, the first thing that we'd like to do is go ahead and give you a little bit of history about journaling. Journaling is often in the news, it's in magazines and things like that about how to journal, why you should journal. But we're going to head back to the actual history. So today I'm going to introduce the history of journaling and specific tools that you will utilize for this special program and journaling experience. The history of journaling can be tracked all the way back to Japan's 990s, thousands era, where Sei Shonagon recorded her life in a collection of essays, poems, and passages. When these were found, that was when they decided that this could be called the very first journaling experience. Someone that we are very aware of, Anne Frank, said that it is an odd idea for someone like me to keep a diary because it seems to me that neither I nor, for that matter, anyone else will be interested in the unbosoming of a 13-year-old schoolgirl. Little did she know, right, that we would be reading her for decades to come. Some of you may be aware of Julia Cameron's morning pages. Julia Cameron is kind of a journaling guru, and she has a cornerstone practice that is for writers, creators, even Hollywood. You might hear of actors and actresses saying that they participate in morning pages. Julia Cameron's morning pages are a very strict set of rules around journaling, where she advises you to write 3 handwritten pages first thing in the morning. And she says that this unlocks the monkey mind, and it can get the person into a very creative state. The Journal to the Self program, which is the program that I am certified in, was developed by Kathleen Adams. And this technique offers both the beginner and advanced journal writer an opportunity to take their practice to the next level with 13 specifically designed writing techniques. We will not be going over all 13 of these, but I have highlighted just a few that I think are very useful and easy to use for this program. I cannot stress enough that journaling is not just for the writer. Journaling is for absolutely everyone. So, why journal? We're not going to really get into a lot of the statistics and the benefits of journaling in this initial program. But what I do want to say is that the journal is always there for you. The journal is faithful, it's a friend, it is, you can have it with you whenever you need it. And it is also your history. We just talked about journaling's history. And so now we're talking about your history in black and white on the page for you to review, recall, things like that. There is power in the page. So I think that's a pretty blanket statement. But what you'll find is that there is power in seeing your words on the page and your reaction to that. In this program, there are very few rules about how we're going to journal. I don't subscribe to the Julia Cameron very strict rule techniques. What we are going to do is give you the techniques that we are going to give you. There are going to be about 4 of them. And you're going to have specific prompts. The prompts will guide you to your response. Even if the prompts sound similar, your entries will be different because every day is different, and that's the beauty of journaling. So, our rules for this program: be honest, be quick, don't edit, and don't judge your writing. Okay, this is crucial not only for this program that we are doing, but also when you are writing in your journal for any reason. You always want to be honest with yourself. You want to write as quickly as you can because then that inner critic doesn't get in the way. The second rule is date each entry. What this does is it grounds us in time and space. It allows you to, know that you are alert and oriented and where you are and what's going on in not only the world at large, but your personal world. And for this program, we do encourage you to write every day. So, dating each page, starting now. Okay, so starting with your journal in front of you. This is particularly helpful, as I said, for grounding yourself where you are in your life and in your day. And it also helps you look for patterns so that you know possibly every Tuesday something is going on and you can recall and reflect on that within the journal. As far as your journal goes, any any page will do. It can be a beautifully bound notebook. It can be just a regular school college rule notebook. It can be anything that is going to inspire you to come to the page. With this, I do encourage you to write pen to paper. There is a different mechanism in the brain, that some different connections that happen when you have pen to paper. If that does not work for you, as always, typing would be the next best thing. If that does not work for you, then a voice recording. Um, so the other thing about our journaling program is that you want to keep what you write. Although there are two very polar opposite camps of whether to keep your journal or not keep your journal, I do encourage people to keep them. You may have this desire to throw it away because you feel like it's junk or it's not relevant, or possibly you don't want anybody to read it. Save it anyways, because upon reflection, there may be nuggets of information or writing or creativity that sparks a new idea or solves a problem. As far as the fear that somebody will find this is absolutely your journal. This is for you and your eyes. Um, keep it in a place that you consider to be safe. Have your name on it, and it is not. It is only up to your prerogative to share. So, as we begin this journey, I would love to remind you that it is not only about what you write, but also about reviewing what you write and taking note of the patterns within your journal. And one of those patterns is also on the days that you don't feel like writing. Make sure you take note of that within the journal. If you have a journal prompt and you think, I can't do this today, please note in the journal that you didn't journal, and the reason and the prompt and maybe what was going on. That is enough. Okay. So much like a musical piece or a poem, what happens in the silence or the white space is almost as important. Okay. Maybe it's even more important than what happens within the music or within the words. Always take note of what takes you away from your journal. We have busy lives. We are starting a new year, and possibly you have new goals. Maybe you have new medical appointments that you have to go to, or just life in general. So please take note of what is taking you away from writing on the page. As Rainier says, the silence of journals can speak as eloquently as the words. So, how to begin? So we're going to start with an entrance meditation. This is what I always encourage you to start with. And you don't have to sit, in lotus pose with your hands, with your fingers in a certain form. What a meditation does is it allows you to just take a 5-second pause, if that's all you need, and breathing in and breathing out and quieting your mind, finding some calm, okay? Finding that pause and losing the chatter and the noise that we're constantly surrounded with, and coming into yourself and finding your mind to then write on the page. That meditation can look like anything that you want it to look like. If it is sitting still, then that's fine. If you choose to go for a full meditation, that is fine. If it's breathing in and out a few times, that is fine. I just want you to find that calm. The second thing is, as I had mentioned, we want to write quickly and not overthink. What you are writing initially even if it does not seem to answer the prompt, I still want you to write it. Okay. Your mind and your hand may take you in a direction that you are unaware of, or that you think, I don't know why I'm doing this or why I'm saying this. Allow it and just let it go. And we're going to write that. Okay. So, because your journal is this private endeavor, feel free to say what's on your mind and in your heart. Okay. Start writing and keep writing just to begin. This is really important for those of us who maybe are perfectionists. Don't correct yourself. If there's a grammatical error, spelling error, typos, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't look neat enough, again, we're going to learn how to let that go with this program. It is all fine. And it's actually really interesting if you do journal already and you write by hand, those days that your handwriting maybe doesn't look like it normally does. That's always kind of an interesting thing to go back and look at and see what was going on. Handwriting can be a barometer for your feelings. Just interesting facts. So we want to always tell the truth. Okay, you get the best results from telling the truth. This isn't the time to make something up. Okay. Protect your privacy, as I mentioned. Store your journal in its own place and put a note on the first page that if found, this information is private. Our first technique is the 15-minute sprint. Okay. This technique is well known, and it is a building block of journaling. The 5-10-minute sprint is an easy goal to accomplish and is a useful tool when feeling overwhelmed. If you don't have a lot of time or you don't know what to write about, when you have 20 to 30 minutes, the sprint can be longer. So first we're going to try for 5 minutes. You can build up to the 15. Okay. With encouragement and positivity, we embark on our journey together. So first we're going to set this 5-minute sprint. Please set a timer for 5 minutes and answer the following 3 questions. These questions have endless possibilities. So if you are ever wondering what to write, these 3 questions, according to Kay Adams of the Journal to the Self program, these 3 questions are things that you can ask yourself every single day. And every day, you may have a different answer. So as always, date your page. The first question is, who am I? I know we get asked this a lot. This is kind of a common question. But for this endeavor, I want you to start from the outside and work your way in. So if you start on the outside, your name, your occupation, your family, and then move your way inward towards your qualities, your values, your essential nature. It is your choice to do it this way. If something else comes up, please feel free to follow your creativity. Write quickly, fill up as much of the space as you can. We're going to inhale and exhale, finding your calm, grounding yourself, and then write. I will continue. I ask you to pause this video at this time, write for your 5 minutes, and then I will keep going. The second question is, why am I here? Okay, again, you can answer specifically, like, why am I taking this class? Why am I in this program? Or starting this workbook? Or you can go globally. What's the meaning of my life right now? What is the purpose of my life? Why am I here? I want you to go ahead and answer that question. Pause the video, and I will keep going. And then finally, our third question, what do I want? This can have, a variety of answers. Feel free to explore whatever comes to mind and go ahead and write that for 5 minutes. What is it that you're hoping for as an outcome of this work? Could be one of your questions. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. You just journaled for 15 minutes. I want you to recognize that hopefully that wasn't as difficult as you had imagined, and that you are now a writer and a journaler, and that's all it took. At this time, I would like you to go back and read what you've written. Give yourself a sentence or two of feedback, such as I read this, I'm aware, or I notice, or are you surprised by anything? Okay. Is there something that you wrote down on the page that you think, huh, I don't know where that came from? Go ahead and circle it, highlight it, recognize your, kind of your amazing ability to journal. Okay. I hope that that was easy. I do believe that we have this buildup of journaling and that we think that if we're not doing it correctly, which there really is no correct way to journal, but I do believe that if we have this preconceived notion that if I'm not doing it correctly or I'm not doing it the way somebody else does it, that it's wrong. And that's simply not true. If you are coming to the page, then you are journaling. And that is in my philosophy and in my book, that's perfect. So journaling can be done at any time. A lot of times we, kind of those preconceived notions again, that we believe that we have to journal in the morning. Uh, I do journal in the morning. I also journal at night. Sometimes if I'm super busy in the morning and I have a moment at 1 in the afternoon to take, to pause and take a break, I might jot something down. It only takes 5 minutes. So I would really encourage you to start with those 5 minute sprints. And again, work your way up to 15. If you want to write for longer than that, absolutely go ahead. Okay, so we're going to geek out for just a minute because you've already journaled, right? You've already experienced the world of journaling. So we're going to go back into a little bit of science. So this is a little bit of neurology, very basic for you. One unique characteristic of the program that I'm going to be sharing with you is that these techniques are designed to utilize both sides of your brain, both the right and left sides of your brain. You may know that some people are more right hemisphere dominant, right brain dominant, or more left brain dominant. I don't know, maybe you know which you are. And there are, if you Google right brain, left brain hemisphere tests, you can discover, they're usually free online. You can discover if you're more right brain or left brain dominant. Or let's go over some of the characteristics. So the left brain characteristics: logical, thoughtful, objective, and orderly. The left temporal lobe is where words are stored. And I have always been in love with words. I am a speech language pathologist. I should have mentioned that I'm also a certified journal writing facilitator. So maybe that's why I became this speech language pathologist. And although I'm logical, orderly is not really my thing. The right brain characteristics: intuitive, creative, emotional, and subjective. This feels more like me. I know that this is the way my brain works most of the time, and I encourage you to take this test online. I'm a writer. I'm a speech language pathologist. I'm a teacher. So when I took the test, it did make sense that I was fairly balanced, and I apologize for the typo on that page. Our second technique: springboards or prompts. A lot of times what happens is we open up our journal and there's a blank page and we think, oh no, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? I don't want to say what I said yesterday. And I feel like all I do is, write about my moodiness and my venting and what's going on, and it's not productive. This is where springboards can be extremely helpful. The blank page is daunting. There's a certain fear around writing the right thing in our journals. This is the complaint that I hear most of the time, is that people start and then they stop because they just don't know what to say. So a springboard is kind of like a diving board. It's a jumping off point. We are jumping into the journal. We are jumping into the page. The springboard can look like a quote, a prompt, a guide, even just a single word. Okay. Today, we're going to create 10 prompts that you can use on your own at your convenience. Because this is not an interactive video at this point, I'm going to just give you a few ideas. So some of your springboards could be what we already discussed. Okay, the who am I, right? What's going on? Those are considered springboards. Questions that lead into springboard designs. What are you most concerned with right now in your life? You can think of 3 prompts that relate to your everyday routine or your activities, or you can open up one of your favorite books and find a quote and write that at the top of the page. What emotions do you want to cultivate in the next 60 days? So, a few ideas of your springboards could be things like we had mentioned, who am I? You could reverse that, flip it, and say, who am I not? Okay, just adding a little twist and getting our brain to think differently. Another idea would be listing 3 things that bring me joy. Okay, another technique or another prompt, I'm sorry, another springboard or prompt could be how do I find my creativity? It could also be something along the lines of when am I most productive? Okay, so it's those, if you go back to the who, those questions like who, what, where, when, how, why, those are often great question starters, obviously. Those can lead to some great springboards. If you want to go with a quote, one of my most favorite quotes is from Dr. Wayne Dyer, who says, change the way you look at things and what you look at will change. That could lead you into a 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute sprint. You can have affirmations, things like, um, everything is working out for me, and then go from there. What I would like you to do prior to prior to starting the program officially, so after we end this video, what I would like you to do is form 10 of your prompts. There's no right or wrong. Okay, so it's really whatever questions, quotes, springboards that you think will lead you into writing on a blank page. Very good. Okay, so our third technique is listing. Who here writes lists? I know I do. I'm a quite fabulous and probably famous list maker in my house. I have lists all over. Lists help you identify your priorities. They help you create categories, and they can also measure your results if you're making a list of goal setting. Sometimes we write lists simply to cross them off, and that would probably be a little bit of a dopamine hit, right? Lists are not just an organizational tool. List writing is scientifically proven to change thoughts, behaviors, and it can even have a physiological impact on the brain and the body. Lists as a journal prompt not only allows us to put our thoughts in order, but it gives the writer the freedom to be quick, sharp, even staccato-like in our responses. In a lot of my classes, the participants start off by saying, I I don't I don't know what to write. It's not a story, it's not prose. Lists are fine. It's the bullet points, right? It is making it quick and simple. And if that's where your head is at, and if that's where you want to go for the day, that is fine. Lists are also fabulous prompts. So here is our second journaling activity during this video, writing 3 things you like about yourself. Okay, so let's take a nice, we're going to actually go ahead and go through this kind of breathing and meditation and calming ourselves. We're going to inhale and exhale. As you inhale, be sure that your breath is flowing all the way past your shoulders into the belly. We want that nice diaphragmatic breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. Finding your calm. Drowning out the noise that might be around you. And I want you to think about this prompt. Write 3 things that you like about yourself. It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be fantastic or over the top. 3 things, little things that you like about yourself. I'd like you to open your eyes and go ahead and write. Now, taking a look at that at your list. Write how you use these three qualities on a daily basis. Or maybe you don't, or maybe you should, right? These are examples of the list prompts that you will receive during this program. Remember to write quickly, don't edit, don't judge, and recognize, please recognize your accomplishments at the end of each session, okay? Because you're showing up. You're showing up for the program, and more importantly, you're showing up for yourself. I'd like to backtrack just for a second. When we look at this prompt here, write three things you like about yourself. One thing that I would like to stress is that anytime there is a prompt of possibly gratitude or three things you like about yourself, or even journaling as a whole, let's not make this too precious. Okay. Let's not go to the grandiose, the over the top, the well, I haven't accomplished this, like so and so, or I don't have this, and so that's not good enough. No, absolutely, that is not the case. For example, if one of the prompts is three things that you're grateful for, it can be as simple and easy as a great cup of coffee, a good night's sleep. Maybe the sun is shining. It doesn't have to be huge to make an impact. And it doesn't have to be so grand that it doesn't deserve a place in your journal. Everything deserves a place in your journal. Okay. Especially you and your three qualities that you like about yourself. Okay. Our final technique, and quite possibly one of my favorites, is the unsent letter. The final journal prompt technique, like I said, is quite possibly my favorite. I should read this before I talk. The unsent letter is an opportunity to express emotions that are bottled up and that might be difficult to articulate in person or to a person. This is an unsent letter. Do not send them. Okay, I cannot emphasize this enough. Please do not send your letters. Composing these letters encourages you to reflect on your thoughts and feelings about a particular person or a situation. So let's think about that. It doesn't have to be an unsent letter to someone. It can be an unsent letter to a thing. Okay, so we can give inanimate objects or emotions the ability to receive this letter. It can help you gain clarity on what you really want to say or how you feel, which can lead to more self-awareness and personal insight. It may help you gain clarity on what you really want to say. Oh, I said it again. Okay. There are no rules when it comes to unsent letters. You can write as formally or informally as you wish, allowing for creative expression without the fear of judgment, because we're not sending them. Ladies and gentlemen, do not send your letters. This freedom can enhance your writing practice. The unsent letter doesn't have to be cathartic and emotional, okay? It can also just be thoughtful or joyful. An unsent letter allows you to embrace your creativity. So I really want you to open your heart to the idea that the unsent letter does not have to be about grievances, okay? It can be something joyful, and maybe one of the prompts will be that you are writing an unsent letter to joy, okay? The feeling, joy. So, I'd like you to take a few minutes and I'd like you to go ahead and do that breathing exercise that we just did, finding your grounding moment, okay? Finding that pause. And I would like you to write a letter to yourself 10 years ago. So, if you're 54, I would write a letter to myself at 44. Okay. What am I saying? What am I saying to myself? Is it positive? Am I giving myself a pep talk? Is it, hey, get your act together? It doesn't matter, the spin that you want to take. Go ahead and really embrace this. Embrace who you were 10 years ago and write that letter and go ahead and do that now. And I will keep going. Okay. Our second letter that we're going to write is a letter to fear. And I just want you to be aware that you may see these prompts again in the program. That's okay. So, writing a letter to fear. Liz Gilbert has this absolutely fabulous quote in her book, Big Magic, where she says, you know, fear is always in the car, right? You always kind of have fear with you, but you can't let fear drive the car. So, in this moment, I want you to take a good couple minutes and settle into fear. And here's the thing, don't be afraid of what comes up. Write a letter to it. Okay. So, I'd like you to pause the video, find your grounding moment, find your calm, and write a letter to fear. Take as long as it takes. Okay, finally, I want you to write a letter to love. So, see how we've kind of shifted this? So, we wrote to a person. We wrote to ourselves, right? 10 years ago. We wrote to something that could possibly bring up some fearful emotions and some anxiety. And now we're going to write a letter to love because love is all encompassing and we want to bring more love into our lives, quite possibly. And so we're going to write a letter to it. Okay. And when you're writing these letters, you can go ahead, as I said, you can go ahead and be formal. You can say, my dearest love. You can say, hey, love, what's up? It doesn't matter. Whatever voice you find comfortable to write in is the voice you're going to go ahead and journal in. So these are examples of the unsent letter prompts that you will be receiving. Go ahead and find your calm and write your letter to love. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so, so much for participating in this program, and I hope that you found this introductory video helpful. Again, my name is Karen Fatika Geiger. You can find me online, and I will be leading the prompts with you. I will be helping to design them and send them out. I really hope that you enjoy this process and that you find a home in journaling. Thank you.